In this tutorial, we're going in-depth into the spotting and line of sight mechanics with an armored brigade. And by the end of this video, you should have a complete understanding of how the mechanics work within the game. If you do not, please leave a comment down below and I will gladly answer any of the questions that you have. Next, if you enjoy military strategy, tactics, and doctrine and like seeing it applied to strategy games, I guarantee this is the channel for you, so make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Now, we cannot talk about line of sight until we talk about spotting. Spotting is affected by several factors, and I'm going to rattle them off right now. So, the first thing we need to make note of is our spotting capabilities, such as thermal imaging, systems, recon ability, movement type, training level, suppression, fatigue, being dug in, buttoned up, retreating, the vehicle's visibility attribute, and damage to those systems. So, how do we see our vehicle's visibility attributes or other systems in play? So we would click on our M1 main battle tank, and we would click on this little I key right here. This is going to bring up a lot of our systems. As you see over in this lower left-hand corner, this is our visibility attribute. We also have thermal imaging, two-plane stabilization, and several other systems that are going to affect our spotting. So with that brief overview of spotting out of the way, we're going to dive into line of sight, and there's a lot to talk about line of sight. Line of sight is technically 2 meters high from a position. So if we were to click on this main battle tank and click on this line of sight tool right here, technically we're 2 meters high in this position. So a lot of people ask that question. That is how spotting or line of sight generally works in the game. It's 2 meters off the ground. Next, smoke has an infinite height. So that's one thing you need to factor in. There's also how spotting works is it's a 3-second interval. So every 3 seconds, the game's going to check if a unit or all the units are making spots. So it's not an instantaneous thing. As a unit moves across the battlefield, it's going to check every 3 seconds. So even though there may be a unit in your line of sight at this moment in time, this unit may not have spotted it yet due to that 3-second interval. Now let's dive more in depth into the line of sight tool. If we click on this line of sight button or the L key, whichever you prefer, you can see that we now have our spotting map. Now, this is just that takes into account the general area of the map. So if we were to have a unit right here or just click right here, see what visibility there is, we can see all the line of sight from this position. However, that's not factoring in our unit's spotting capability. So let's go over here to this M1 main battle tank and we click on it. As you can see, this triangle or this arrow is now green. When it is green, that means a unit is selected. So as you see, if we click off a unit, it's red. As we click on a unit, it is green. If we hit Shift L to change the colors, sometimes it deselects the unit, sometimes it does not. I don't know if that's meant to happen, but either way, sometimes it just doesn't work correctly. So what we're going to do, we're going to hit Shift L a bunch of times, and now we have this color gradient map, red and blue. I want you to take a real good look at this map, because when I click off this unit and click back on, these line of sight ranges are going to change just slightly. So let's click back onto this unit. As you see, we lost some line of sight ranges real far out here. If we would hit Shift L a bunch of times again, you can see we lost those ranges. What's happening is the game's calculating the unit's stats and taking all of those factors in when determining the line of sight into that position. Right? So if we click back on our main battle tank, see how we have the green cursor? With all those factors considered, at this moment in time, this is where this unit can see on the map. So if we were to click on each one of these main battle tanks, these M1s, we can see that it changes each and every time. So we hit L to turn that off. We drag these M1s out of the way. We grab these M48A5s. We drag them basically into the same position. We do the same exact checks. We grab our line of sight tool. We click this unit. As you can see, this is how this one can see in this position. If we were to hit Shift L several times, you can see that our units over there now have become visible. Just similar to the M1. So when it is red, no unit is selected. When it is green, a unit is selected, and it's taking account of all the stats that affect line of sight. So I'm going to keep it this red while we start the battle. I'm going to click off our line of sight tool. I'm going to drag our infantry up because there's a few more things I want to demonstrate. So if we hit the start, once we hit the start button, it's going to ask for our helicopters. So let's get our recon helicopters up. I wanted to talk about the helicopters as well because as you can see, we're much higher. See how this is blue? I'm going to demonstrate this in a moment. We're doing our main target. We're giving a target reference point over here to look in this area. And then we're going to click over here and we're going to do a target reference point in this general area. Right? We're going to hit X. We're going to hit start. I'm mainly doing that to demonstrate our air power. So let's do this. There's a few more things I want to talk about with regards to line of sight. So if we hit this fast button, we're going to go real fast. Might be too fast. Units are moving into position. We do have line of sight over all of these positions. I really want to bring up this line of sight tool one more time because slow. Jesus, we just obliterated whatever that was. So here we have a unit that's been identified. That was the whole goal of this little exercise, was to identify a unit and talk about this line of sight green, right? That green 91%, red 26%, and then we have a fully identified unit at 56% over here. So it also tells you if there's any obscurance in that general. It says there's 3, so maybe there's like the road, the smoke right now, as you see. It tells you what obscurance are currently going on, and remember that smoke has an infinite line of sight, or infinite height. So that's some factors that we need to discuss, but overall I just wanted to demonstrate what the line of sight tool is going to look like when it's in battle and taking effect. So as you can see, there's a percentage. That percentage is your probability to hit. We can do a video on probability to hit at a later date. But at this current moment in time, we have a 56% line of sight into that position. And over here, you can see this small position, and we can see that it's 21%, 9%, and then wherever it's black, we have no line of sight. So while your vehicles do have these long engagement ranges, also if other vehicles that identify units in their own line of sight, your unit will not target that vehicle. So if there was a unit right here, and this unit did not have, well, it does have line of sight. So and we're just thinking like from like this position to this position, then this unit would not be able to get target. And I want to stop rambling real quick because there's one more thing I really needed to talk about, and that's that you cannot identify units on the battlefield or enemy units. So one more moment, you're going to see. We're just waiting for the enemy to make a move, or they've just completely given up and can't see the objective. Once our helicopter comes in, we'll make some more determinations. But as you see, let's slow down a little bit. All right, now we do have another unit in play. If we click on this unit, oh, it's about to get absolutely destroyed. We cannot see anything about it. Even if it's identified, we cannot see what visibility from this position. It just gives us a general visibility from that position. Whereas we can click on our tanks and we can see everything about it, everything about our vehicle. So even though this vehicle's in this position, we don't know if he has line of sight on this tank because we don't know the factors that affect that unit's spotting capability or its current visibility. Either way, long video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure, let me know if you want to see any more type of content. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out, dudes.